Did you know 33% of Americans didn't read a single book last year, and only 12% read one book all the way to the end? Probably just to forget everything they just read. Meanwhile, the most successful people in the world, they read religiously and actually apply what they read in their daily lives. Reading gives you a massive competitive edge. If somebody has decades of experience they put into a book and you can read that book in a few days, you could download decades in a days. There's no bigger advantage. And today I'm going to teach you how to double your reading speed and actually remember what you read so you can unlock the limitless possibilities in your mind and in your life. I've used these exact techniques to train actors, CEOs, students at Harvard University, and lifelong learners across the globe. By the end, you'll learn 5 proven speed reading strategies that you can start using in just 10 minutes. So let's dive in. We live in an era of information. There's never been more to read. Think about social media, emails, reports, messages, Google searches, AI. Information overload is very real. Most people waste hours and hours of their day just trying to catch up, never realizing how much time they are losing. Imagine this. Let's say you have 4 hours of reading a day and you could just double your reading speed. You could save 2 hours a day. What's 2 hours a day across a year, right? Or even 1 hour a day is what? 365 hours. How many 40-hour work weeks is that? Over 9. So you get 2 months of productivity back just by improving your reading. So how do you unlock and save more of that valuable time? First, you have to find out what your baseline is, your base rate. So what I want you to do, and let's make this interactive, remember learning is not a spectator sport, is I want you to set a timer on your phone for 60 seconds. And I want you to read naturally as you would normally would. Then count how many lines you just read. And that's your base rate. That's your starting point. So pause this, grab a book, put a mark in the margin where you are starting, and then time yourself for 60 seconds, put a mark in the margin where you left off, and then count the number of lines. Okay, hopefully you just did that. Remember, don't learn this passively. Pause it and do it now to get the benefit, because in order to manage something, you have to measure it. So now that you know your base rate, your baseline, let's dive into technique number 1, meta guiding. Most of us were taught to read out loud while we're in school. And even when we stopped moving our lips, we kept doing it inside of our heads. You ever notice when you're reading something, you hear that inner voice inside your head? Hopefully it's your own voice. It's not like somebody else's voice. That's called subvocalization. And it slows you down because you can only read as fast as your inner voice, which is about 150, 200 words per minute. Meta guiding helps you to break that habit by using a visual pacer. It could be your finger, a pen, a highlighter, even a cursor on a computer to guide your eyes across the page. And here's how it works. Place your finger just under the line you're reading. Start moving it steadily left to right, just a bit faster than you normally read. Let your eyes follow that movement without trying to say the words inside your head. It might feel a little strange at first, especially if you were told not to use your finger while reading. But the truth is, your eyes naturally follow motion. And when you use a pacer like this, you retrain your brain to process words visually, not so much audibly. This alone can significantly increase your reading speed while also improving your reading focus and reduce backtracking or back skipping. They call it regression. Try it and you'll see a difference almost immediately. Number 2, the technique is called chunking. Now don't confuse chunking with skimming. They're very different. Skimming is about jumping through text, skipping words, and hoping to catch a few key phrases. Chunking, on the other hand, is about training your eyes and your mind to read in meaningful blocks of information. Think of it this way. Your brain doesn't process language one letter at a time. It recognizes patterns. It recognizes phrases and structures. That's why chunking works. It allows you to absorb multiple words at once without reading each one individually. And here's how you can apply it. Instead of focusing on one word at a time, start focusing on groups of maybe 3 words. You could look at a word and see the word to the left and see the word to the right. Because if you're looking at the center of a line, you can let your peripheral vision capture the rest. And practice reading line by line with a wider lens. You could gradually expand the width of what you take in with each glance. They call it a fixation, an eye stop. Retraining your visual field and teaching your brain to process more with less effort. It may feel awkward at first because it's different, but with practice, you'll stop reading like a printer, one letter or word at a time, and start reading like your brain was designed to, in chunks. This one shift alone can dramatically and drastically reduce the time you spend reading, while improving your reading rhythm, comprehension, and overall flow. Do you have too much to read, but too little time? Are your shelves full of books that you haven't read yet and become shelf help, not self-help? And that's why I created the Kwik reading course. 15 minutes a day, 21 days will absolutely transform your life. Just go to kwikbrain.com/reading. Use the code podcast15 and you'll get instant access. Number 3, this is a big one. The testing effect. Most people hear the word test and immediately tense up. But what if I told you that testing yourself could actually make you better at reading? The testing effect is a well-studied psychological phenomenon where practicing under time pressure strengthens both your focus and your memory. But here's the key. Don't treat it like a test. What I do is I treat it like a game. If you've ever played a game, let's say it's Mario Kart or any game with a timer, you probably pushed yourself to beat your last time, right? Lap after lap until you hit first place. Think of this technique as the reading version of Mario Kart. And here's how to use it. I want you to set a timer for 5 or maybe 10 minutes max. And read using the techniques we've already covered. Count how many lines or pages you get through, just like we did the first time. So pick up where you left off and practice reading. Then the next day, I want you to beat your number, right? To surpass what you did, your personal record. This technique not only helps you read faster, but it also trains your brain to stay focused under pressure. And that pressure actually deepens your learning because your brain treats it as high priority information. This turns reading into an active challenge instead of a passive habit. So if you've ever thought, I'm just bad at tests, rewire that thought. You're not testing yourself to pass. You're playing to improve. Keep it light, keep it fun, and watch your speed climb. Number 4, pre-reading scan, also known as priming. This is where speed reading meets reading strategy or smart reading, because real speed reading isn't about racing through words. It's about reading with purpose. Without a reason, you won't get the result. Before diving into whatever you're reading, a book, an article, a report, research, take just 30 to 60 seconds to scan the material. And what are you looking for? I want you to look at headlines, subheadlines, bullets, bold or italic text, look at charts, look at diagrams, illustrations, summaries. Think of this like glancing at the map before you go on that road trip. You're not memorizing every turn. You're just getting a sense of the direction. Why does this matter? Because your brain is a prediction machine. When it knows what's coming, it processes information faster. It makes far stronger connections and retains more. So this is called priming. And it's backed by comprehension research that shows how previewing content boosts focus and comprehension and understanding. So instead of reading blind, you're reading with a mental GPS. You're telling your brain, here's what to expect. So get ready. You're priming yourself. And just like you wouldn't walk into a meeting without reviewing the agenda, don't dive into deep reading without giving your brain the same advantage. Pre-reading takes less than a minute, but it can completely shift how much you understand and how fast you move through the material. And finally, number 5, active recall. What is it? Reading something once isn't enough if you want to remember what you read. You have to engage with it. And one of the most effective ways to do that is through active recall, what I call quick recall, and more specifically by saying it out loud. And here's how it works. After you finish reading a section, let's say it's a book, close the book. Then take a moment and try to recall what you just learned, but say it out loud. That's the key, as if you're explaining it to someone else. This taps into what's called the production effect. Research shows that saying information out loud strengthens your memory and retention far more than just thinking about it passively. It forces you to retrieve the information, to organize the information, and express it clearly, all of which deepens your reading understanding. If you want to go a step further, combine speaking it out loud with writing down the key points afterwards. This activates multiple parts of your brain, including visual, verbal, and your motor functions to help lock in your learning. That's how you go from passive reading, to active retention. And if you want to dive deeper into how to actually remember what you learn, I highly recommend checking out my video, How to Remember Things, where I walk you through 3 science-based strategies to boost your recall and retention. You know, these techniques have transformed the lives of millions of people, and they started by transforming mine. If you take even just one of these techniques and put it into action, you're going to start unlocking more knowledge, more confidence, and more time. You'll be able to absorb information much faster, retain more, and apply it in ways that move you towards your full potential. Now make sure you go and save this video so you can come back to it whenever you need a quick refresher. If you want to magnify the results of your reading, go to kwikreading.com. Kwikreading.com is a 21-day program, just 10 to 15 minutes a day, where we're guaranteed to triple your reading speed with far better comprehension, focus, retention, and overall reading enjoyment. So thank you for spending this time with me. You're already taking a very powerful step forward, and I can't wait to see where it takes you. Also, I'd love to know, what book are you reading right now? I'm always looking for good suggestions, or what's next on your to-read list. Share it in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more brain health and performance accelerated learning strategies. I'll see you in our next video, and until then, remember, stay limitless.